Anyways, I am Sunny, your introer for today. I'm here with.
Kaika, because I like to do Destiny and unimportant things.
And Kiganako. Let's go. Season 2 is never happening, baby.
All
You know what he
right.
sounds like? He sounds like Blueface. Have you ever heard of the Blueface?
No.
Blueface baby? No. Okay.
Who's
Damn,
that?
okay, casual racism.
Who's
Tough scene.
Blueface?
You don't know who Blueface
What,
is?
No,
just
he's
because
like
my
a
avatar
rapper.
is blue?
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm searching him up on YouTube.
Damn. Damn.
Blue face. All right. You know what?
Blue
Fuck this
face, more like blue
podcast.
based.
Is it
Let's
the
get on
woman?
with the podcast.
No. Fuck the pod. It's some trash music. All right.
He's God T.
On to the podcast.
Yes.
We
on to the
have a
pod.
delight for you all today. Starting off with you guys, one of your favorite people on earth, Kamala
Joe
Harris.
What?
Wait, what?
What?
Wait, what?
What?
Chow's not following the script?
Not following the script.
Yeah,
You know he's not following the Matrix, bro. This crap.
Bro, you know what?
Glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Glitch in the Matrix.
I'm the 1.01. I'm the remainder.
We have like the loosest script, and you couldn't even follow that.
Okay, let's talk about Kamala Harris, the actual
the
president of 2020.
Yeah, but she's in deep water right now. So, first of all, there was a poll that came out a couple of days ago from John McLawn. I don't know. I'll link it down below. And what he found was 64% of all voters say it's likely Vice President Kamala Harris will be president before Joe Biden's term ends, and Trump will defeat her in a 49-45 split. If this isn't concerning for Kamala Harris, I don't know what is. But we have some even more concerning things. This came from an Axios article, a couple of days ago, where the vice president is described as a shit show, and she's fucking up. And
Based.
yeah, I know.
Isn't she?
Exactly. She's often described as a poor heir apparent, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically like a successor to Joe Biden. And she's obviously described as poorly managed and staffed with people who don't know her very well. Now, if that isn't like horrible enough, right? Her own camp doesn't even like her, right? Who cares about what the American people think? If the morale inside the eye is horrible, then it eats you alive. But let's talk about what people think of her. She's been criticized from both parts of the aisle, so from Republicans and Democrats, for her handling of the illegal immigration crisis, because Biden dumped her. He wanted her to take care of it. He didn't want to take any of the slack, and she hasn't really been addressing, quote, the root causes of the issue. Harris also visited the border. However, as we mentioned in a previous episode, she visited a county in El Paso, 800 miles from the, quote, illegal immigrant epicenter. So it's also not looking good for her in Texas, which is a very, very important state for Democrats to win if they want to see some really good gains. Now, she also mentioned on an interview with Lester Holt, this is not new information, by the way, I'm just repeating it, that when Lester Holt asked Kamala Harris, like, why haven't you been to the border? Her first response was, I haven't been to Europe, and I don't understand the point you're making. Obviously, it's a bad diversion, not a good call from Harris. It just makes her seem like she's pushing off one of her biggest issues to the side and comparing it to an issue that doesn't really hold water. And that's it. I mean, Harris has so far, not she's not looking too good. I think we all agree, right, guys?
Yeah, she kind of shit. Like when, especially for example, she went to Guatemala and a bunch of people had signs ready for her saying, "Oh, go back to your home," or like Trump won the election.
That's
Or
funny.
it was like so bad. She was getting mocked so bad by the people that she wanted.
Wait,
Like,
hold on.
to
Wait,
vote for.
some of those signs said Trump won the election.
Yeah, if the editor can put it up, if not, it's fine. But it was really funny. Also, she gave a very like funny speech because she's like, "Well, you guys should not come to the country illegally, so don't come." And it was just very like ironic because the left or the Democrats want like more people to come in through the border, but she's like, "Nah, do it legally." and it was just funny because like that's basically how the right view it, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I mean, it's only
Well-
racist if you're a Republican, right? Who cares
Right,
if you're
of
a
course.
Democrat?
If you have the right
Exactly.
politics, you can't be racist. No.
Right.
I mean, look, we've already gone over about why the Democrats are like actually incredibly racist, and of course, this is just another one of those mask off moments. Oh, actually, speaking of mask off, I do find it kind of funny that, of course, it was Joe Biden and Kamala who were trying to take all of the credit for finally telling people what they've always known about the masks. We've covered this in a previous episode. But now, when faced with this opportunity to actually make some type of progress when it comes to how America deals with the border, right? Because Kamala has gotten all these responsibilities that Joe has just dumped on her because, he doesn't actually know how to solve problems. Kamala had a real
by the way, let's mention that he doesn't want to take any of the slack. So if he fucks up, that's bad. That's really bad for Biden because he's only polling at 60%.
I mean, yeah, basically, we everyone on the left and the right have basically established that he's basically just a racist. And the only reason why they leftists like him more than Trump is because of Trump derangement syndrome. But anyways, what I was saying was, there's so much potential for Kamala to actually do something here. Actually, like, help with the situation at the border. And she just did nothing. Like, what? And when people ask her why she didn't visit the border, she just completely and visibly tangents to a different subject. Like, what?
Look, I don't... Like, I get the... how do I put this? I get why people are saying you should go to the border, but realistically, if they're changing policy, going to the border should be really low on the list, as it really does nothing. But in her situation, she's literally done nothing for the border. She's changed no policy. She's done nothing for the border. She's done nothing for the children at the border. She's done nothing for the people, the women, the children, a lot of these coyotes, which you don't want her to do anything for them. But she has done nothing for them. In fact, in many ways, she's actually made it very easy for these coyotes to take these children and women, abuse them, and take them across the border into America. So...
Damn, kids in cages, just like Obama did
Whoa.
Right, and they're building more facilities with cages. Like,
Oh,
what?
great. Awesome.
Let's make it like a zoo type of thing, It's by concession to view it.
Gotta put the animals in the cages. Yeah, makes sense.
Exactly. I think overall...
Great takes from Kamala.
Overall, it's pretty obvious. I think it's obvious to most Americans that Kamala is going to succeed Joe Biden halfway through his term, because Joe Biden seriously has some sort of developing dementia or already has dementia. And this is only proven by our next topic, which is...
the fact that he's alive is basically like the only thing that's given him his presidency. Let's talk about that.
Kaika lead the way.
Yes.
Yeah,
Joe Biden...
Kaika, you have the notes. Pull them out.
So Joe Biden was
Kaika, can you please introduce the next topic?
No, I can't. Joe Biden was at a sweet shop the other day, and some reporter or someone in the shop asked him about Russia, which is a very hot button issue. You'd expect him to be briefed on this issue daily or even hourly.
Yeah.
You should expect him to be well versed in this issue because of all the cyber attacks thrown at American companies, considering the fact that he's getting sued left and right. You'd expect him to be very well versed on the Russia issue. Well, Joe Biden, when he was asked about the Russia issue, literally pulled out notes from his jacket, read them off, and then just went away.
With the most recent hack by the Russians, would you say that this means
We're not sure it's the Russians.
Would you like your receipt? Do you know who it might be, sir?
I'll be in better shape to talk to you about it. Hang on a second.
We need to know. We're not going to do it.
I'll tell you what they sent me. Okay?
It's
Great.
amazing.
Great.
Russia is, by the way, for Democrats, not for Republicans, but for Democrats, Russia is like a top 10 issue, right? They believe Russia interfered in the 2016 election, giving Donald Trump the win.
Which there, of course, was no evidence for.
Well, there was some evidence, but
No,
it's
no, I
really
mean,
hard to
not
assess
really.
when China also does the same thing for Democrats. So it's kind of like, all right, are we gonna address China as well? Um, what was I saying? Oh, right. So it's very hard for um, for us to see Joe Biden as a leader when he does this. I don't even think he has control over his like night schedule. I think someone controls that. I think someone controls his diet, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I'm suggesting that someone is controlling his every move. I don't think he. I think if this was a normal situation, do you guys know about the Britney thing
Oh yeah,
where
the
she
free
has
hashtag free Britney.
yeah, but in this situation, Joe Biden would be under conservatorship, right? So
Hmm.
basically, someone decides what he does on the day. I think he would be suited in Brittany's
Yo,
situation.
hashtag free Biden.
Free
Hashtag
Biden.
come
Hashtag free
on,
Biden.
put it in
Hashtag free
Twitter.
Biden.
You
Get
know
that
what?
trending.
You know what? Let's tweet it right now. Sons of Liberty. Who has
Right
it propped
now.
up?
Right now.
Right
I
now.
will.
Put it. Hashtag free Biden from the clutches of whoever's controlling him. All
No,
right.
actually, let's do it right now. Bet.
Right now. You know what? You know
All
what?
right. I
That's how we're
just
gonna
did
time stop a recording. For those of you go look at our Twitter right now, and that's how you know that's when we record. All right. Now let's get on to the rest of this topic. All right.
Yeah. We have a little bit of Joe Biden news still. So the jobs report came up, and they were a little better than they were before. I remember when some analysts were expecting over 1 million jobs added in the month of April, and then it was like 270K, which was just laughable. If you don't know, 850,000 jobs were added to the U.S. in the month of June, which is actually pretty good, right, considering the previous months. However, there is still some very bad things in this job report. The fact that there's almost 10 million job openings, and the unemployment rate went up to 5.9%. This is bad, but to make matters even worse, wages went up 3.6%. Now, the reason why you don't want wages to go up in this current age of time is because of inflation. Inflation's already up 8% this year. Only this year.
8%?
Yes.
8%, and we're only halfway through the year.
Yes.
We're
And when
fine,
wages
Sean.
go up 3.6%, that's
Oh,
only
no.
going to fuel inflation, perhaps even by 3.6%. Because
So-
if there's more currency in circulation, then it's valued less. This is all not good for the economy.
Not to mention that the government's solution to all these problems so far has either been saying we'll pay for it in 20 years and then never paying for it, our $20 trillion deficit, or it's been to just print more money. Shut up, just print more money. It'll solve every problem.
And
This is
Democrats are
how-
putting.
Devalue the dollar more.
This is how and this is why people are actually starting to switch to unregulated cryptocurrencies instead of having to deal with the US's fiat. This is why, in the next 5 to 10 years, we might actually see a future where you're buying things with Dogecoin, not actual coins.
Dogecoin, the people's currency. Am I right, boys?
Rise to the moon.
Exactly.
No, it's all about Litecoin. Come on, people.
Shut
get on the
up!
train.
You're wrong.
Come on. Litecoin gonna boom, bro. Trust me.
Helmets.
And by the way, Democrats want to push through $1.9 trillion bill. Just saying.
Ah, great.
Mm.
So
What are we fucking? What's that country has like what $1 trillion bill? What's that nation?
Zimbabwe.
Some place in Africa.
I'm pretty sure it's actually Venezuela.
Well,
Is
Venezuela's inflation rate hit 10 million%, but Zimbabwe had a $1 trillion note.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh, wait. I think Venezuela also has a $1 trillion note.
Uh,
I don't know.
Or maybe not a $1
Just know it's
trillion, but
horrible there.
It's big. It's big.
It's bad.
yeah,
Dummy.
it's pretty bad.
It's horrible there. But yeah, I think that's all we have to comment on Biden.
Yo, speak about horrible.
Let's talk about this USA Today article.
Ugh.
No, Sonny, you could take this.
Oh fuck. Anyways, let's talk about this next topic, which is about the USA Today article. Basically talks about how conservatives want to ban transgender athletes from girls' sports. Their evidence is a bit shaky, so I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts on it?
Also, I just want to clarify.
No.
Sonny was reading the literal headline. The problem with this headline is their evidence is shaky when conservatives want to ban transgender athletes from girls' sports.
I
Let me
don't know.
repeat this. Biological males, and I'm not like saying I'm not going to call them by the opposite pronouns they want to be called by. I'm just saying these are biological males competing in women sports. These people have a complete advantage over these women. Now, it's not an absolute advantage where it's 10 out of 10. If you put
But
the
the
best,
fact that there
10.
even is that advantage means that there is an unfairness in the competition, and to point it out makes you transphobic.
Exactly. And why would they say their evidence is shaky? It's not even shaky evidence, it's just simple biology. Right?
It's using your
Men
brain.
Men 99 times out of 100 are going to be stronger than women. Now, of course, there's going to be some anomalies, but we're talking about the general population.
I mean, especially today.
Yeah, so it's just amazing how the pursuit of political correctness can distort truth at this point. It's actually insane, and I think we're going to see more of this in the future because
Okay, actually, there was this I found on a video I was watching one day. This isn't on the script. I just wanted to mention it. Some like girl on Twitter made this really fucking like head ass take that said, "Why are women smaller than men on average? If women were the same size as men, and we're talking about muscle size, height, and in general just stature." In general, if women were the same size as men, then that would better allow them to, triumph over physical adversity, have children, care for children, and sort of exist on the same level as men. Why are women smaller? The actual answer is biology, but they're a leftist, and they said because men have been starving women.
What?
Yes!
No.
Yes! This person deadass said that the reason why women are smaller is because for millennia, greedy men have taken all of the food. Smaller
what's ironic
bodies
about
need
this?
smaller nutrients. So, oh, bro, it's so fucking stupid.
All right, let's forget about biology, which is an important factor. I'm just saying, let's just forget about that for a second. Traditionally, through the thousands of years humans have been, developing, civilizations for, women tend to pick out fruit, make the food. So it doesn't even make sense how men have been starving women for decades. Women are usually the one who tend the food.
Whoa, you're putting gender roles on women now?
No,
Whoa.
I'm just saying,
Whoa.
traditionally,
Nah, that's
thousands
too...
of years ago, that's how it
Okay,
Oh,
worked.
but here's the
no.
thing. This idea that, gender is a construct and that all of these, gender norms are, socially constructed to keep women down or something, right? Fundamentally, they're all based on biology, right? The reason why women were the ones that, harvested and crafted foodstuffs was because men were the ones going out there and hunting. I mean, women hunted too, but not nearly to the same degree. There's a reason why men were evolutionarily fit to hunt. They were the hunters. They went after other animals and killed them for their food. They had to be predators. Now, they weren't perfect predators. They weren't like literally a different species. They were just a different gender. But that gender had to be suited to hunt. It's why testosterone works the way it does, and why estrogen doesn't. Well, estrogen does work the way it does, but not the same way as testosterone. It's not interchangeable. That's why when someone, actually genuinely wants to go through the gender reassignment surgery process, the first thing they do is take supplements of the other hormone. It's also why gender is inherently a binary.
By the way, if you genuinely believe that men have been starving women for, thousands of years, then I tell you to look at the animal kingdom, where usually males are biologically stronger. Now, there are some situations where they aren't. For example, with praying mantises, but it's an anomaly. right? We don't include that at the generalized population, as we mentioned previously.
Also, there's so many differences between praying mantises and humans that it's not even really worth
What do
counting
you
in the same
mean?
category.
Women eat heads? What do you
Aren't praying
mean, bro?
mantises mammals?
No,
Nah.
Exactly.
most mammals operate in this fixed way. So,
Right.
yeah.
Also, can I just say, for as tough as they make being a woman out to be, this idea that women are always at the mercy of the hunky, strong male, ultimately, it is the female who is the sexual selector. And that is a tool that, even under the coat of progressivism and leftism, they have mostly still been able to use, even if they're guilty about it.
And OnlyFans only exemplifies the situation you're describing.
Right.
I want to be a woman, dude. OnlyFans be
You want to be
paying.
oh damn, play like life on easy mode, just be a woman.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Like look
And
at
making
Twitch
OnlyFans?
streamers, bro.
Bro,
OnlyFans,
be a woman.
all these
Okay,
opportunities.
okay.
bro.
No, here's what you do. All right, gaming. All right, you be a man, transition to a woman, have an OnlyFans,
Join the Olympics. Oh,
join the Olympics. It all ties together.
bro.
Let's
Like imagine
go.
if John Cena just like tomorrow was like, I identify as a woman, enters the Olympics, wins gold medal for America.
Let's go.
The sad thing is, if John Cena identified as a woman and did some type of weightlifting competition and practiced for a couple of weeks, he'd probably have a pretty good standing.
What do you mean? He'd be the best one there.
Maybe.
Because they can't see them, bro.
Oh,
they
I
can't
mean, I
see them.
guess.
Okay,
yeah.
but I will say, there is something that that should be said before we move on to the next topic, because I think this is a pretty good closing statement. Is that ultimately biology and genetics are factors. They give advantages, but hard practice and work can overcome these disadvantages. You can have those transgender men competing in women's sports, and them having an inherent biological advantage. But if the woman put in more time and effort, they're probably still going to win.
I mean, yeah, to
Yes.
some extent.
Yeah.
I'd say, like,
To an extent.
if Brian Shaw, the 4 times winning strongest man on the planet, if he identified as a woman and competed as a woman, he would decimate the competition.
Yeah.
There is no question.
Hands down.
No
hands
question,
down.
bro. No.
All right, boys. Okay.
You see my gender.
I know you're a
I-
boy
What? How do you know that?
because,
You see my gender.
well, no, I haven't seen
don't think
under,
it's an
so I guess
assumption.
you have a
I
point.
don't think it's an assumption.
But still, boys, we're gonna be talking about 4th of July. We had a wild ride this 4th of
Let's
July.
go,
Fuck
America!
yeah.
Fuck
America
yeah!
the
Let's
best.
go.
Wait, hold on. Am I allowed to say that? I'm a
Yeah, I
fucking
think so.
cringe anarchist.
Oh, we
Am I
might be
allowed to say
copyrighted.
that?
We might
Nah,
be
because
claimed
we
from
can
that
use
thing.
10 seconds of the video of the music. If we
No,
use past
but
that, we get
guys,
copyrighted.
I'm a cringe anarchist. I'm not allowed to say America. Fuck yeah.
Well, it gets you kicked off the podcast. Your only role was be the cringe
No.
anarchist.
No, but I like America, but also think there are other ways of structuring society. What do I do?
Cringe to get out.
Damn.
All right, let's go. Let's continue on this 4th of July journey.
Yeah, so the first thing we have lined up is this NPR article where they criticized America and its founding document.
Awesome, great start.
I'll read some quotes from the piece. They said, quote, 245 years ago, leaders representing 13 British colonies signed a document to declare independence. It says, quote, that all men are created equal, end quote, but women, enslaved people, indigenous people, and many others were not held as equal at the same time, end quote. Quote, in this thread of Declaration of Independence, you can see a document with flaws and deeply ingrained hypocrisies. It also laid the foundation for this country's collective aspirations, the hopes of what for America could be. That's not how you should say that, but that's fine. Now, I don't really mind this article. I think it's important for, news outlets to have their own opinions.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, it's kind of cringe when they all have the exact same cookie cutter opinions, but, whatever.
right,
All
but
right.
this caught a lot of flack from conservatives
Mhm.
because of this last line I read. And I'll read it again. In this thread of the Declaration of Independence, you can see a document with flaws and deeply ingrained hypocrisies.
Okay.
That's what people are mad.
Now, here's the thing, right? If you are
Yeah.
going to deadass say that the Declaration of Independence has no flaws, then, yeah, you're not really present in this conversation.
I think, okay, this is what in the modern day context, in terms of civil rights, the Declaration of Independence is a pretty good document. I
Wait,
think we
in
could all
terms
agree.
of civil rights, why that specifically?
Because this all has to do with black people's
Oh, right. Okay,
position in
right.
America.
Because everything about leftism is some argument about injustice over identity. Right.
Right. And by the way, I think the Declaration of Independence is a document that was flawed and it had ingrained hypocrisies at the time it was written. But right now, it's 2021. People are held to the same standard, except if you're applying to college, and people have the same civil liberties. So, if we really want to talk about this, I don't think you can make an argument that has flaws. I get that.
Mhm.
But hypocrisy, I don't think so. I think
I don't
everyone
know
is
about
held to the same
hypocrisy.
standard.
You know, I gotta say, what I find really strange is if there are any elements of hypocrisy, they were only really originated because of leftist sort of movements to create quote-unquote true equality. Like what you said with the college thing. With affirmative action, that's a great example of, there actually being racial bias, essentially, in an institution like college. And that does go against the Declaration of Independence. But whose fault is
does.
that? It's
Right,
not
but they're not referring to
conservatives.
that. Right.
Of course they're
They're
not.
obviously referring to
No, yeah.
Republicans being racist.
And dumb.
However
Speaking of-
much evidence there is for that, yeah.
Speaking of something out of tune, or out of tune, is that the right word?
Out of touch.
Out of touch. Yeah, there you go. We have Cori Bush. Now, if you know who Cori Bush is, she's a congresswoman from, I believe, Michigan. I may be wrong on that. She's part of the squad. So the squad is Rashida Tlaib, Cori Bush, AOC, and I think someone else. So it's basically the most radical Democrats in Congress.
Mm-hmm.
She tweeted out this. When they say the 4th of July is about American freedom, remember this. The freedom they're referring is to white people. This land is stolen and black people still aren't free.
Shut the
This is
fuck
Why,
up.
how are they not free? How are they not free? I'm
They're-
so curious.
Okay,
Like, I'm so curious. How
Democrats
are
are literally living in their own fucking heads, their own anxious fantasies that black people are still enslaved, and the reason why it's their fantasy is because they were the party that invented the KKK. I've mentioned this like 5 times already, but it's true. It's fundamentally just a fucking head-ass take to believe that you genuinely believe that black people are not free in America. In what institution? In what way? One person, or let's say in a modern day city, you have like 20 to 30 people who are unironically racist to black people, who aren't like hiding it behind social justice or progressivism, right? They're openly racist to black people, like South Confederate style, right?
Yeah.
That does not mean that that black person who, maybe be casually discriminated against, like, from person to person, not from institution to institution, that does not mean that they're not free. It's not like those fucking, like, Confederate racists that probably don't even exist anymore in a large presence are, like, rounding up black people, tying them to chairs in their basement, and, like, holding them hostage and forcing them to do labor. That's not the world that we live in. That's such a fucking, like, detached, out-of-touch take. It honestly makes me question why these people are taken seriously at all. But, it's, Twitter, so I can't really be surprised.
And it's the most radical of Democrats, so
Exactly.
you get what you pay for at this point, right?
Also, this thing about land being stolen land, there actually is something to that. I mean,
There's an argument, yeah.
yeah,
There's an argument.
but here's the thing, right? What you have to recognize is that the tribalism of American Indians, and yes, I'm calling them American Indians, not Native Americans, even if that's more technically correct, people on reservations would more often than not like to be called American Indians. CGP Grey made a great video on that. Link is in description. But the thing is, right, the American Indians who were on this land weren't doing shit with it. I mean, sure, they owned it. I mean, they owned parts of it anyway. And yes, the European turned American settlers, the white colonizers, if you will, did colonize. They did manifest destiny, and they did take over the continent. This is all true. But that already happened, and the people who did it are long dead. The people who have been subjugated to it have been long dead for centuries. It's the same thing with slavery, all right? You want to argue that Native Americans, or American Indians, or whatever the fuck, right, have an inherent sort of deed to the land, and that it was the evil white people that took them out of it. Really. When American Indians and Native Americans nowadays are living better lives than they ever had in their tribes because of the white people with their white man's burden creating actual civilization with running water, access to food, economy, society, civilization. Tribes didn't really have that. And I get that that's a new invention, but isn't that the point? These people are saying that this is stolen land. I mean, it was stolen hundreds of years ago. What, do you just want all of the white people to just get the fuck out so only people who were originally here can have the land? Not to mention that all of these tribes who were separate, keep in mind, were constantly fighting over the land and constantly debating who owned what. Each individual tribe owned like a quarter of a state of land. I'm sure there are a couple exceptions, but like, seriously, if you want to say that all American Indians collectively owned the continental United States, and that all of these white invaders need to get the fuck out because they're only making it worse, have to look at the conditions of the tribes, and they have to look at the conditions of modern-day cities and even suburbia and rural areas, and think to themselves, do I really want to go back? Do I really head-ass want to go back? Because the only other option is for white people to be forcibly removed, which would be, a precursor to possibly a genocide, as we've seen multiple times in the past, right? The only other option would be to give American Indian, Native American all of this infrastructure that they didn't make. And that ain't right either. So, yeah, that's fucking stupid.
It's an insane take. We all agree.
Yeah, very insane take.
Okay, so I know that you're all. Oh, sorry, no, we have one last thing.
We have
about
one
the
last
4th of
thing.
July.
We have the most important thing, bro. What do you mean? It's the most important thing.
Skynet. Sorry. Did I say Skynet? I meant to say Mark Zuckerberg. Let's talk about Mark
No,
Zuckerberg.
you mean Lizard Man? What do you mean?
Lizard Man, yeah.
Yeah, Lizard Man AI 3.0.
So, if you don't know, Mark Zuckerberg celebrated 4th of July by... Is he he's surfing on...
He's
he has... What is that?
I think it's like a propeller under it.
A propeller surfboard? Yeah, I mean, some rich thing, we don't know. He's holding up the American flag, it looks cool and all. He's just riding, Really cool stuff. And a lot of the takes have been, man, would prefer Mark Zuckerberg, him pay his taxes on the 4th of July, which is really stupid in all ways, because Zuckerberg actually pays taxes, not in the traditional sense. And if you really are mad at him for not evading taxes, but making it so that he has very little taxes to pay, you should really be complaining at the people you elect. Those people are the ones who are being lobbied and changing the laws in his favor.
Yeah.
So it's really stupid. Yeah,
It's really
that's all I have to say.
It's also stupid that Mark Zuckerberg is waving around an American flag and being all patriotic on July 4th when Facebook has continued an absolute crusade against anyone right of left who was also celebrating on this glorious day. If you were a conservative and you wanted to celebrate on Facebook, Oh no, shucks, man. Your account has been permanently suspended. Nice one.
I mean,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
people are allowed to freaking celebrate on Instagram though, and Facebook I believe owned Instagram,
they
so I
do.
don't
Yeah,
know.
I
but
think the one big issue we have is the fact they banned Trump for no reason.
yeah,
So
same with Twitter. But that's
Nah,
that's kind of old news. I don't
it
know.
is old news.
like what we talked about the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
podcast.
No, we didn't talk about it in episode 1. We talked about it in like episode 5, I think.
You know, whichever episode it is, go back and watch it, guys. Really,
Yeah,
Yeah,
hell yeah,
watch our
dude.
watch our fucking backlog.
exactly. Come
You're
on,
our
watch old
slaves.
news.
Yeah, you're our slaves. Watch our
No,
fucking
no, you're not.
videos.
You're free people. You
Cap,
can
cap,
vote.
helmet.
All right, let's
Yeah,
get to the next topic.
let's talk
Chow, would
about
you like
something related to
Okay,
Canada.
Chow,
okay.
would you like to
So,
introduce us in this
yes,
topic?
I would. So you've all heard me rant already, but in true Sons of Liberty fashion, I shall completely take the stage yet again.
Pain.
So we were talking about 4th of July for a long while now, and we were talking about American Independence Day. But Canada recently had something kind of similar. This was not their Independence Day, I believe, but it was Canada Day, the celebration of their founding document, I believe, and they almost got cucked out of it. Now, what does that mean? One of my favorite YouTubers on this planet, he's a liberal, but it's whatever, made a video recently about, semi-recently, about Canada Day on Canada Day. He has a way better upload schedule than us, clearly. But the important part from that video was, recently, people have discovered a mass grave of American Indian bodies in, like one of those like boarding schools like America had. Canada had them too, and they had them a lot longer than America did. Just kind of an oof. So basically, progressives in Canada, which, let's be real, is the dominating force of Canada, right, want to, and have wanted to, cancel Canada Day for July 1st because of this current event. Normally, I would be tearing them to shreds over this because it's fucking stupid, but here's the thing. It is honestly a fair point to make that, maybe there is something to this. Maybe that the people who are, mad about, finding this massive grave, maybe that sort of reopens some wounds. Because the problem with this, and then being compared to what happened in America with their boarding schools, and even American slavery, is that all happened in the past. Everyone who was affected by it and everyone who caused it have already been dead. And we've talked about this previously in the previous point about 4th of July. The problem with Canada is this is still happening. Well, it just stopped. There are victims of the boarding schools that are still alive right now. Right now, today, right now. And because of that, there is a little bit more ground to them saying that, maybe we should take that day to, remember about what happened and, respect the victims and whatever. But I will say this, and I'm quoting that guy from the video on here. Say in May, someone discovers a new mass grave of black slaves in the south somewhere. South of America. Not South America, south of the United States of America. And as a result of this discovery, activists in your country are demanding that July 4th this year be cancelled. Would you agree with that? Personally, I don't know. What do you two think?
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand everyone's point, but canceling a holiday seems excessive, in my opinion. Um, I don't know. It's a hard issue. Good thing I'm not Canadian. So yeah, that's all I have to leave it to. I get both points though. Like
Yeah.
I understand both sides. It's like the Confederate statue situation where I understand why black people have an issue with Confederate statues, but I also understand, you know, why some people have some sort of attachment to the Confederate statues.
Yeah. And like those people aren't really racist if they want to keep the Confederate statues up. It's just that they have a personal connection to it. But
Right.
on the other hand, yeah. Fuck, Sonny, what do you
Oh
think?
no, I don't think I see. I don't know. We usually talk about American stuff in this podcast, but Canada's Canada. A lot of shit is happening over there at the current moment. I'm not, you know, involved in that. Like I'm not involved in European politics or anywhere else. I'm a little involved in Mexican politics or like Southern American as well. South
Right,
American.
but you have a background there, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So, but with Canada, I have no background, no connection to. As to understand both parties, I think it's fucked up to cancel the holiday. I mean,
That's
COVID already canceled most of our fucking holidays
that's
throughout the
kind
year.
of what I'm thinking.
So it's kind of same. It's like we're fucked. It's fucked in generally. So
Yeah,
yeah,
well, yeah.
that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. The way that I see it, maybe maybe the day shouldn't be canceled. You can definitely make a point about it, and that while celebrating the country, we should also be humble of its past and look to create a better future. That's all well and good. I don't think the day should be canceled, and the fact that it almost was is kind of disappointing. But on the other hand, I can understand it more than if someone was trying to make a blatant power play and try to cancel 4th of July because of slavery. That's kind of stupid. So, there's that. I think my opening with this thing that Canada almost got cucked out of their day was a little vindictive when reviewing the facts. But in a way, you could argue that the reason why most Canadians, or some Canadians, didn't celebrate their day was because progressives were hijacking the news of the mass grave in order to gain political power, which is sick in its own way. So, there's that. Anyways, speaking
Let's move on to another topic.
Yeah, that was fucking awkward. Let's talk about
Let's go. Let's talk about something
outrageous
American.
oil.
Oil.
Okay,
That's on the American. Fuck
Well,
yeah.
it's actually this is not an American topic,
Ah.
but
Uh,
it's a funny topic. So let's talk about this.
Pain.
So let's give some context to the viewers. An oil well broke out in, I think this was Mexico.
It still boggles the mind to look at it. It may look just like a scene from a disaster movie, but this is real. This video captured today when the ocean caught fire in the Gulf of Mexico just west of the Yucatan Peninsula. Those dramatic images of the ocean aflame quickly going viral on social media. Some people calling it an eye of fire, while others said it looked like the portal to hell opening up.
Fucking looks cool.
It looks cool, dude. I mean, I think we all agree. It looks fucking cool. Have you ever seen the sea on fire?
Yes.
Well, I haven't. This looks cool. Anyways, so this is obviously a giant mishap, right? No one wants this to happen. Thankfully, no one died. No one got injured. However, a lot of people have been commenting on the situation, suggesting that somehow this is capitalism's fault. One user, named Laura Pidcock, interesting name, said the sea is on fire, but some people still think capitalism can be managed. No, ironically, the responses are amazing. And my response would be, well, number one, this is a state-owned oil manufacturer, Pemex, right? It's owned by the state. And number two, socialist-owned companies have also experienced horrible natural disasters. For example, the worst disaster in modern, I don't know if it's modern in history, but in history, is the Chernobyl accident. Does everyone remember what happened there? That whole area is not occupiable for like the next thousands of years.
10,000 plus.
Yeah, so it happens both ways, and somehow suggesting that capitalism is at fault here is just a dirty take. It's dirty politics. That's all I have to mention on that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, it fucking looks
that's
cool.
it. It looks cool
Honestly-
though, yeah.
Honestly, viewers at home, let's put a link in the chat so you guys can watch a full video,
I'll
not
put
just
a-
the clip that
Oh.
our editor put up, and you guys can see for yourselves. I have it as my computer background. So yeah. All right. Anyways, next topic. Who wants to introduce
Alright.
this one?
Oh, actually, I do want to say one last thing about the
Never mind.
capitalism thing. It is very common for when communists talk about, and socialists too, because I'm putting them in the same category.
Lamau, what's the distinction? We know this distinction, right? I assume we do.
Yeah.
But socialists don't. So if you ask them, they won't know the future. Like, they won't know any difference. None. They'll just say it's been managed by big, scary people. That's the only difference.
Right, but here's the thing, right? What I think is really interesting is when people I'd say rightfully acclaim deaths of blatantly communist countries to communism, right? And that the basic theory of shared ownership doesn't work because it kills tens of millions of people. Actually, I think hundreds of millions of people when you
It is
crunch the
hundreds of
numbers,
millions.
right? And that it is one of the most devastating theories of human history, right? And then communists turn around and claim every death ever to be the fault of capitalism. You have to sort of ask yourself where they're coming from, because there was this sort of idea from very hardcore leftists that capitalism is a new evil that was developed in the last, let's say, 1,000 years, and that before then everyone was inherently communist. So I don't know where they're going off, basically calling every death of humanity a capitalist death, but I think it's fundamentally misunderstanding what is a death by capitalism and what is a death by communism. I swear this will be quick. To me, right, if you've died because of capitalism, it is because on some level you either got really, really unlucky or you were lazy and you refused to pull yourself up on the many chances that you got. So, if you died because you were homeless, for example, it means either you didn't get enough opportunities in your life, right, just by complete, unluckiness and random chance, or wherever you happen to be living. And then that's combined with you not working hard enough to make a life for yourself, because fundamentally, everyone can make something of themselves if they try. The circumstances can be shit, but you can still give effort. Always. Now, here's the thing. Most people don't really die to this. There are homeless people who do die, that is a thing, but it's not exactly common, and you can argue that therefore it is not inherently a fault of capitalism that the people who don't try die. I know that sounds fucked, but I'm moving on to communism, because people die in communism because of the system. They die because they're not allowed to own anything. They can only work for the state. Their rations are being rationed with everyone else in mind, and nobody gets anything because when socialist and communist leaders say that everyone is in mind, what they really mean is they're in mind first and you're in mind second. And this is where you get the meme where all of these communist dictators are like really plump and well fed, and then you have all of these starving communists who are just dying on the streets. And that's why so many people evade communist countries. You can argue, therefore, that communist deaths are the fault of communism, but quote-unquote capitalist deaths aren't. They're the fault of the person, or they're the fault of the circumstances, but they're not really fault of the system. And also, this thing about oil, this idea that somehow this is the fault of capitalism, that quote-unquote the sea is on fire, that's... what the fuck? How is that capitalism's fault? Anyways, I just wanted to make that quick little side note. You're probably not going to be hearing much from me later in this episode anyway, so...
Damn, no, we got some hot button issues.
Oh,
that
maybe
you
me too.
definitely,
Maybe I'm mistaken. I am happy
you
to rant
definitely need to
further.
comment on
I am
this.
happy to rant further.
All right. So speaking of a hot button issue, let's talk about Sha'Carri Richardson. Now, I'm sorry if I'm butchering her name. I don't really pronounce those type of words. If you don't know what happened to her, she was benched from the Olympics because she had some THC levels in her body. And the Olympics do not permit athletes to smoke marijuana, But interestingly enough, they
They'll
will
allow
allow
trans women.
men. They will allow transgender women to compete in women districts, which is quite literally insane. Now, what is the average level of testosterone for women? It's about zero point 0.5 to 2.4 nanoliters per liter, and they will allow transgender women with lower than 10 nanometers per liter to compete as a woman. So I think this is an insane take by the Olympics because marijuana is not an enhancing drug by any means. In fact, it's more of a disadvantage if you just consumed it. Um, yeah, Chow, I know you're really big into this. What do you think?
Um, you know, okay. When I talk about like substance use and abuse on this podcast and in my normal daily life, it is coming from the understanding that the only way to stop people from taking drugs is force. Actually, the only way to stop people from doing anything is force. And to me, I think that on some level, you know, people should be allowed to recreationally do drugs. And that it shouldn't be, you know, illegal from the government. Now, this isn't about the government, is it? This is about the Olympics. And people, you know, smoking marijuana and the Olympics saying that's not okay, that is completely reasonable because the Olympics is not a government organization. It is rather an international corporation or an international organization, rather. In that way, it does not require to be as limitless as a government, because if you do not comply with the government, you are jailed or you are killed. If you do not comply with the Olympics, it just means you can't compete. And you do not have a human right to compete in the Olympics. I think everyone can agree. So,
Yeah.
when it comes to the Olympics not permitting athletes to smoke marijuana, I completely understand, and I think that's completely valid. Now, let's talk about testosterone levels.
Okay,
And
can I
then,
interject here for a second?
oh, of course.
Don't you think it's a little backwards how they value transgender women issues over marijuana
I
issues?
was gonna get to that, actually.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was saying. I was gonna talk about testosterone, and that was that if the average testosterone levels for women are about 0.5 to 2.4 nanomoles per liter, right? And men with testosterone levels lower than 10 can compete with women as women, like, right, if they're transitioning. That, I don't know, on a baseline, I would say that is, I don't know. I think it should be lower, but I don't know if it should be that much lower. Here's the problem, right? If we're going with the biggest extreme for women of 2.4 nanomoles per liter, and we'll round to 2.5 to be generous, 10 is a 4 times increase. That's steep. I don't know if you can really justify a 4 times increase of testosterone from the highest mark. But also understand that with the transitioning process, there are some parts of the body that either take a long time to fully accept the transition or never do. And this does directly affect hormone levels. If you're taking estrogen and you're taking testosterone blockers, you may still find yourself with a large amount of testosterone, larger than an average woman, like a biological woman. So, I think that it being larger than the highest cap for women is logical. I do not think that the Olympics has to lower it or raise it, because they're a private company and they don't have to do anything, right? But if we're all going to be fair here and say that the Olympics should do what they can to keep competitions as fair as possible with their permission permitting athletes from smoking marijuana, it would be fair to say that people who are actively going through the process of transitioning should be farther along in the process before they can compete with their desired gender. So in this case, men who are trying to become women and transitioning to being a woman should have less than 10 nanomoles per liter. I don't think it has to be 2, but maybe something in the ballpark of 6 or 5. I think that would be much more reasonable to achieve, considering their biological limitations and the limitations of gender reassignment technology. I don't think that anyone has to, but I think that's how it should be.
Yeah, good take. Son, do you have anything to add or not?
Alright. So basically, how I view it is like how I view how the NFL's handled the whole marijuana situation. Of course, they're not allowing fucking transgender women or women in general as to be active players, but they do let women be coaches, referees, which is fine. They're not actually gonna get hurt. Well, they might. The referees might get knocked out or tackled by accident. But I view how they handle marijuana because just recently the NFL actually lifted it and actually allowed marijuana to be used by the players. Obviously not during game day, but like in their like free time. I just find this so funny because I saw when Ben Shapiro put this up, I laughed on Twitter. He's because it was like, why would they allow like a transgender woman, male to female, to be in the Olympics, but not allow a person to use marijuana or has certain levels of marijuana in her? It's just kind of dumb, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think we all agree it's dumb, and hopefully it gets better.
Exactly.
Okay. Speaking of Olympians, we're gonna be talking about good old Gwen Berry again. So if you don't know, she was a bit of an asshole on Twitter pre 2014. So we're gonna read you a little bit of the tweets. Warning: these are kind of racist.
I got this, guys.
Based.
They kind
I
of
got
are bad.
this.
You got
I
this.
got
All right.
this. I'm about to wrap my lunch right now. Oh, not
That's
right
not.
now.
That's not what it says.
Oh, my bad. I'll say it word for word right now. I'm about to wrap my lunch.
Okay.
What is it? What is this S?
It says
slash-
okay. Wait.
What is
Let's
it?
clarify. It says I'm about to my lunch.
Why would you say it like that? Whoa, 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 whoa.
Look,
Whoa, you gotta take it PG-13, bro.
cool.
You gotta say rap.
Okay, Sonny, none of our podcast has been PG-13 so far, this entire thing.
I don't know.
Okay, you know what? No, fuck it, I'll just do it, alright?
Yeah,
Alright,
Chow should do it.
the majority of tweets came when Barry was in her early 20s, well before she was on the Olympic teams for Rio in 2016, and Team USA for the 2014 Pan American Sports Festival. However, she was still competing for the US at a national level. Get ready for these hot banger tweets.
Bangers.
I'm about to my lunch. Significant. Oh wait, SO. What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
I'll search it up.
SO to all the females that go and get drunk, get wrecked by 4 dudes, then cry this weekend.
Okay, SO means shout out. So basically,
Shout
out.
Oh my god! Shout out
Why
to
does-
all the females that gonna get drunk, get wrecked by 4 dudes, then cry this weekend. Jesus.
That's
Right.
amazing. That is.
That's
At
amazing.
iThrow, Mexicas just don't care about people. What the
Mexica?
fuck?
Wait, Mexicas.
Mexicas.
She didn't even spell it. Wait, did I not type that right?
Wait, did she
Or-
mean? Wait.
Mexicans, or does she just mean Americans?
I-
Yo,
I-
Oh no, I didn't type that right. I didn't type
Okay,
that right.
I think it's Mexicans.
Alright.
I think it's Mexicans. Yeah, it's
It's
Mexicans.
Mexicans.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right.
Quote, just saw this girl wearing heels with white socks. What the hell? Hashtag Chinese people always try to start
Oh
new
my-
trends. SMH girl.
That's really ironic. Oh yeah, freaking representing your own culture, black people, but being racist towards Mexicans and Chinese makes sense.
Oh no, it gets better.
It's
Quote,
worse.
These white children freaking themselves right out in this Dairy Queen line.
I don't know a single white person that goes to DQ. Honestly.
Honestly. Bro.
I don't know anyone who goes to DQ.
Honestly, DQ is
Yeah.
dead. Yo, Ew! Retweet at Big Homie a mess. Julie from hashtag BGC got a nice ass body for a white girl.
Damn.
Oof. Oof.
That's
nice.
like, what is that? That's not even. Isn't that like body shaming?
Yeah,
Damn.
What is
it's
BGC?
body shaming and racism. Oh,
I'll search
great.
What
it
is
up.
BGC? What does that mean?
BGC meeting. Bad Girls Club.
Okay.
Really?
Okay. Yo, in class and mugs calling people out. Ha ha ha. White people crazy. Hashtag ratchet. I want to hang myself. Hashtag
Oh my
ratchet. When was this released? When was this?
2014.
No. Oh, actually, okay. that
It's in the span
completely
between 2011 and 2014.
yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, they're talking like that. Yeah, okay. Hashtag basketball wives is proof that white people run their goddamn mouths much they knows as hell,
Wow.
and they start drama. BTW Kazi BL. What the fuck?
Did you spell it wrong? or
Okay,
is it
I
just
can read this. Sorry, I can read this. Hashtag basketball wives is proof that white people run they goddamn mouths much and they knows as hell and they start drama. By the way, I think it's crazy black bullshit.
Yeah, you know,
I-
it's also black
Bro.
bullshit. You go on your knees after getting fucking third place. You put black people down. Swear.
Oh, and then of course, this little white boy being bad as hell, I would smack his ass then stomp him. SMH. Hashtag white people kids hella disrespectful. That's not a hashtag.
Damn.
That's not a hashtag.
She's
Hashtag-
making hashtags.
Hashtag you are disrespectful during the Pledge of Allegiance. Alright.
Damn.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, this person's cringe.
What a cringe, Lord.
By the way, if some white guy
Yeah.
tweeted this, that person would get their life destroyed. But this is
Yeah,
completely
no.
fine.
Yeah, I know,
let's,
because
how about let's us tweet these, you know?
yeah,
No,
Ben,
no.
actually, yeah, you know what?
No,
No, you
no,
know what? Yeah.
change the password, change the password,
Yeah,
change
yeah.
the password.
Let's tweet every single one of these things word for word.
No, change the password, no. Anyways, let's go.
Let's talk about Corina Kopf.
It's actually
Oh.
Corinna Kopf. Thank you very
Alright,
much.
I got this, guys. I'll read this tweet.
Stop disrespecting
Alright,
people's
guys, this is
queens.
my favorite topic of the day, alright? So she tweeted on July 4th, 2021 at 11:56 a.m. on her iPhone on Twitter. I'm pretty sure Joe Biden has no clue where he is 75% of the time. Ha 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 ha. Oh my gosh, guys. She's a Trump supporter. What do you guys think?
Corinna Kopf based
Literally
what?
Trump supporter. Literally
Trump
Hitler.
supporter. You know what? You know what? People that are Democrats can't bash Joe Biden. They just can't. So she
Nope.
has to be a Trump supporter.
Nope,
She became
Trump
10 times more attractive.
supporter. On God,
Yeah.
on God.
That's coming from a bisexual man.
It's coming from the gay one. oh, okay. Let's go.
Looking at the comments. Oh my gosh. I found a comment. I'm going to put it in the chat.
The comments are like ratio,
no,
right?
No, I can't put this in. You can't put this in the video because of what it says. I put it in the dog. I'll put it in
Oh
the chat,
no. Actually, you know what? How about you say it?
actually.
Yeah. How about you say it?
I'm putting that in the video.
All right,
that's
for
just
obvious,
amazing.
obvious reasons, we cannot say it.
Yeah. Stop
but
talking about my N-word Biden, Corinna K.
It's a 50-50 how people feel in the comment section, as I'm seeing. Either they're like praising him for questioning Joe Biden or like praising him for being a Trump supporter. And others are like, oh, wow, I really respected you before this. I'll find a tweet of that and I'll give it to her. And it's like really stupid.
Yeah, no, but she definitely just elevated her attractiveness by tenfold at least. 100%.
Yeah.
I started
100%,
following
you know,
her.
let's just
Oh,
call it
and then
over
of course,
right
yeah.
now.
If
Well,
you
come
look
on.
under the comments of this thing, someone says STFUUUUUU and then a smiley face, and then Destiny Games says Trumpy mad lol. What? What the fuck is this Twitter thread?
I don't understand this. It's just really funny. It was the highlight of today because it was when was it posted? Was it posted? No,
July
highlight of
4th.
July 4th.
America Day.
America Day, exactly. America Day. Highlight of 4th of July. We should have put that in that section, but I didn't notice when it was uploaded. Anyways, yeah.
All right.
That's
all
So, is there
Now let's
anything
talk
left?
about another.
Oh
Wait,
right,
you guys have
yeah. We have
another poggers not poggers thing that happened. Very bad thing, in my
A
opinion.
poggers thing that happened. you almost
Bill
caught you slipping.
Cosby.
Bill Cosby got released out of prison.
Poggers.
Our law, what's professional will fucking tell us.
Okay,
What happened.
I'm not a law professional, but I can basically break this down. So Bill Cosby
I was talking about
was.
Chow. What the fuck, bro?
Oh, okay. All right, Chow, you got a
got
take
this,
on this?
Chow.
What?
You got this, Chow. You got this, Chow. Come on, explain what happened.
Okay.
Come on.
There's literally no links in the script.
All
It
right.
just says civil rights. That's it.
Okay, I'll talk about this.
Okay, go.
So, if you don't know who Bill Cosby is, I mean, get out the fucking rock. All right, go outside,
Hey.
touch some grass.
Bro, I swear, get some post dogs. Like, gosh dang.
All right. He basically, yeah, I'm not going to talk about it. I don't want us to fuck up the algorithm, but
Words.
essentially, yeah. Essentially, he was sentenced to prison for his crimes. Now, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court released him, not because he's not guilty, but because his civil rights were violated. Okay? Now, let me explain why his civil rights were violated. His civil rights were violated because the prosecutor illegally obtained testimony from Cosby. So what happened was Cosby was testifying against himself, which he did under his own free will, under the condition that this won't be used in a criminal court. He did that in a civil court where someone sued him for monetary reasons, right? In a court where you don't have to be proven to the highest standard. You could be loosely proven and still have to pay a sum of money. In a criminal court, you have to basically prove that there are no holes in the case, that the evidence only points to this one person committing the crime. Cosby testified in civil court against himself. The prosecutor, after telling Cosby that he won't use this evidence against him in criminal court, then used it against Cosby in criminal court and got him sentenced. So, I understand people's feelings towards Cosby, right? He's a horrible person. But in this situation, his civil rights were violated. Okay? I don't know why there's this much controversy around this. I think Cosby should die in hell. But there's not really much you could do. If we suggest that Cosby should go to prison, we're setting a dangerous precedent where we could illegally obtain evidence if we have a hunch that someone's guilty. What do you guys think?
I think that, like, it's fucked. He's out. But to be honest, it's the people who handle it's fault.
It is,
No
yeah,
one
it's
else's
100%.
fault.
And he can't be tried for the same trial, double jeopardy. So he's a free man, unless someone else.
Unless
Has
he
some
spikes one of
allegations.
our
You
drinks
know,
again.
I gotta say, this is definitely a very nuanced issue. But I guess all I can say is, hey.
Fucking gosh.
EDP 455, little cupcake.
Yo, Cosby's
Wait,
just
what?
trying to get a cupcake, dog.
He's trying to get them cupcakes, dude.
Exactly.
Oh, we're fucked. We're fucked, dude.
All right. Anyways, I think that's all the time we have for our podcast today. I have been one of your hosts, Sunny Hawkeye. I'm here with
Kaika.
dipshit one that doesn't want to say his name. Okay. Anyways,
Kaika, yeah.
and
yeah.
Kaganaco season 2 is never happening, baby.
King Chow season 2 is happening in 1 month, boys. Set your calendar.
Hat, helmet,
No,
helmet.
Oh my God,
Comic Book
August 6th.
construction helmet.
Oh my
it's
god.
happening in a month. You guys coming
It's
out?
happening in a week.
Coming
It's
out?
happening in a week.
Oh, and it's happening tomorrow. It's happening tomorrow after this upload. Come on.
Let's go.
No, he said
Anyways,
this podcast.
yeah, that's it for tonight. Good night.
Worry about leaving a better planet for our kids. How about leaving better kids for our planet? Entire generation offended at everything, getting mad that a human thinks all lives matter. We don't need black or white or left or right. What we need is common sense. We need balance. We're all in the same boat. Why you trying to make holes? If they sink, we sink. This is madness.